In the bizarre world of reality TV, where drama is frequently the main course, there have been some bizarre love stories, but Ballistic Beats and Joseline Hernandez's bizarre romance is unmatched. The headlines couldn't get enough of these two ardent lovers, who had given us all the drama with as much on-off movement as a light switch, not to mention their peculiar dispositions. I discussed erratic conduct. They throw another curveball just when you think you've seen everything. Imagine this. At a party, when the music is screaming and everyone is having a fantastic time, a raged guy enters and abruptly, for no apparent reason, shuts everything down. I simply told everyone to get lost and turned off the lights. What a buzzkill! Then suddenly, their engagement is over. Ballistic, the music producer with his own claim to fame, always seemed like the cool guy behind Joseline, the former Love and Hip Hop Atlanta star and Puerto Rican princess, at least for the time being. Even though Wilder did this once on a calm Miami afternoon when Joseline had just returned from an event and Ballistic was hard at work in the backstage area, fans never grew bored of it behind the scenes since their relationship was a passionate chaos or whatever it was on TV. Studio, although everything seemed to be going smoothly on the surface, you could be certain that the drama would escalate. It's unclear what transpired that day, but our awful two, I promise this story has explosive emotions beneath its calm exterior. Continue reading to find out what I mean. Joseline, who was frequently agitated, was growing more and more annoyed with their partnership, accusations of adultery, issues with trust, and a complete breakdown in communication occurred, all of which are widely recognized signs of a failed relationship. Whether or not it was accurate at the time, Jolene's frustration over something she had heard, and her subsequent confrontation with Ballistic with accusations and demands for clarification, was the turning point. Clarity as the conflict grew more heated. As trust issues and past traumas returned to haunt them, the vulnerability that had kept them together began to crumble. Man, hurry up. What are you discussing? What's the matter with you? Quit pretending that we aren't making fun of one another. They were idiots and their shouting match reached a peak. Joseline unexpectedly and suddenly chose to leave my house in a fit of rage, shouting in an irritable tone, cold and unyielding, "Are you serious?" Ballistic said after feeding someone bananas. He said to the youngster, "You're a nut. You're not an example." And then, "Oh, don't tell anybody about what we did today." As accusations and charges were leveled, the atmosphere was tense, with everyone making fun of one another's anxieties, the broken trust, and Joseline's icy demand. Everyone was left wondering what would happen next because there was no room for compromise at this point in pure truth. He said angrily, "What's wrong with you, you nut-ass broad? Dude, are you serious? I am treated like a king by you. You don't treat me disrespectfully." He couldn't react since he was so emotional and surprised. It had only just dawned on him, after staying by her side through thick and thin, that usually combative and unyielding, Joseline fought Ballistic's attempts to reason with her and begged for a calm discussion. When it comes to protecting her tranquility, she never backs down. She repeated it, slicing through the tension like a dagger, and then she showed him the door to the house where they had spent months living together. At the same time, she felt frustrated and hurt. And betrayal on social media, fans were split. Some supported Joseline's choice, while others justified her actions. The world looked on in shock as Ballistic packed his things and departed, clearly taken aback by the sudden turn of events. Contrary to their reality show roles, this conflict was real and unplanned. The way it all happened in the digital world was reminiscent of a real-life drama. People chose sides or simply expressed shock at how easily things came apart in the resulting rush of emotions. While some thought Joseline was too harsh, others applauded her for not compromising. In any case, their split was the day's most talked about story in all of the major media. Fans were discussing the emotional cost of their breakup and whether there was more after Ballistic made an enigmatic social media statement outlining his thoughts. She was commended for her tenacity and for demonstrating on Instagram that sometimes choosing peace requires prioritizing oneself. Her main points were respect for oneself, self-control, and personal limits, even if it means ending a relationship that had seemed so stable at one point. As time passed, nobody noticed that the breakup drama was at an all-time high, leading many to question whether Joseline and Ballistic would ever get back together. Despite their increasing separation, there were still persistent whispers of a possible reconciliation or a final breakup. Everyone can see that Joseline Hernandez, once known as the fearless Puerto Rican princess, had the courage to defend herself. Her decision to put herself before the drama shows that, in a world where relationships are scrutinized by the public, leaving can occasionally be the most audacious course of action. People spoke about how Joseline put her own needs first after witnessing her courageous act. In a culture that loves to test relationships, this made a big, bold statement, even though no one is sure if it was the correct choice or what the future holds. A step towards self-determination, Ballistic Beats had to rebuild his life, his trust, and his knowledge of love as fans waited and watched the tumultuous romance drama between Joseline and Ballistic. It was clear from the narrative that Joseline would not back down. She had made her decision and was taking ownership of it. Everyone was on edge, waiting to see what would happen next in this passionate love story. With the premiere of Ballistic, their story reached a turning point in the bizarre realm of reality TV, where Joseline Hernandez was once again a spectacle, with Ballistic beats and drama and emotion blend fact and fiction. Joseline would face whatever came, with or without him. Because she was never sure what she would do next, Joseline, the queen of her story, never failed to leave her admirers wondering. Off again. Hip-hop and previous romantic relationships. Atlanta sensation and self-described Puerto Rican princess Joseline was frequently portrayed as having a supporting partner for reality TV personality and producer Ballistic Beats. Their erratic conduct and fiery personalities, which often made headlines, made their relationship anything but ideal. The disastrous event that would put an end to their engagement caught fans off guard. Social media and television, their relationship's highs and lows were a reality TV dream come true, and every public altercation, split, and makeover went viral on social media. Even while their fans were constantly curious about what would happen next, this most recent occurrence raised the stakes to an entirely new level and left them wondering what was happening behind the scenes. Ultimately, it was up to Joseline to control her life and repair her reputation. What would happen next in the intriguing realm of real-life love was up to her and the future. Joseline had just returned from a promotional event in Miami while Ballistic was deep in the studio working on his album. Everything seemed quiet from the outside. But behind the scenes, things were heating up. Joseline had become tired of their relationship because of her explosive temper, poor communication, lack of trust, and accusations of adultery. All signs that a relationship is doomed. Something Joseline had heard about a couple in the news caused her to suddenly lose it. The facts didn't really matter because she was angry and demanding explanations at the moment. Trust gradually eroded as long-standing issues came back to haunt us. All that was left was a broken vulnerability. Like the glue holding them together, voices started to disintegrate. Joseline was unrelenting, her comments getting more caustic by the moment, and she delivered the bomb at a time when things couldn't get much worse. The sound of Rose's voice filled the house. In a harsh and nasty voice, the words "Get out of my house" echoed there, heavy with emotion. Ballistic was stunned, unable to speak and clearly distressed. Despite Joseline's efforts to uphold though it felt like something out of a theatrical film, these two were experiencing the nasty reality of breakups. She had no intention of letting up now that the tension had entirely subsided. Ballistic stood there, still in shock from the demands, trying to process what had just transpired. Reality in full color, he had always supported her in both good and bad times, but all of a sudden he understood that their connection had been destroyed. Joseline persisted even after he tried to reason with her and beg for a calm discussion. The fierce reality TV actress, who never backs down from a conflict, especially when it threatens her peace, shouted, "You need to go," in a voice as clear and harsh as a razor. She then removed him from the home they had shared for several months, her emotions roiling with anger, hurt, and disappointment. Betrayal. The drama enthralled everyone as Ballistic, clearly taken aback by the result, packed up his things and left. This was real life after the Oreo social media fiasco, yet it felt like one of those scenarios from their reality shows. Fans couldn't stop talking about it. A few were surprised by what Joseline had done. There are times when choosing peace is the only choice, even though she got support and encouragement from others for standing up for herself. Joseline then shared a message on Instagram to remind everyone that honoring oneself, and even if it meant leaving a relationship that seemed to last forever, setting personal boundaries must come first.